Hey guys, thanks for joining me today. I'm Mitch, and this is sort of a comparison between different brands of pastels. So these are the pastels that I have. We have Girault, which is a hard stick pastel. Usually runs about $5 per stick. You can get these on a variety of sites. This is Great American. This is a really soft pastel. Probably my favorite pastel is Great American, just because it's both soft and highly pigmented, and I really like the way it handles. So this is Mount Vision. This is sort of a cheaper pastel, but as you can see, it's really, really big. You get a lot of value for your money in the Mount Visions. This is Art Spectrum. It's also on the cheaper end. This is a really hard pastel, and this is a hard pastel as well. So now we have Rembrandt's, very popular commercial brand, both in the full stick and half stick, to kind of give you a size comparison. And finally, we have Unison, a UK-based pastel. Also one of my favorites for pets. They have like a pet package that you can get for Unison that's really, really nice. Mount Vision does not have a pet package. Great American does, though. So these two have a pet-specific package, which I really like. So let's kind of compare how these look and feel. We'll start with the Girault, how do you pronounce it? Just kind of, you can see this is kind of a hard pastel. It's good for making individual hairs, if you want to do that. Kind of nice there, handles nice. For covering an area, this is sort of what it looks like. You can also like press down harder on it and get different styles. So overall, I like this pastel. As you can see, this is $4.58 from their line. So this is kind of a burnt sienna theme we have going for all these. So I like these. You don't have that much dust. It's not too bad, and it blends well. This is by far the most expensive pastel right here. But I like it because it's hard and I can get fine lines with it. I mean, pretty fine lines with this thing. So I like this pastel. All right, so this is Great American French Roast 130.0, and let's try this out for some coverage. As you can see, this is a softer pastel. So when you go through here, kind of peels off a little bit. So this is softer, and we'll see how it blends. Blends really well as well. For fine lines, obviously you're not going to get that because it's a softer pastel. As the Great American is more of a darker color, it's a little bit harder than some of the lighter colors. They have some whites that will literally crumble in your hands. But obviously you're not going to get super fine lines with this thing because it's so soft. But I do like it because it has nice and even coverage. So when you go in and you're doing your base coats and you want to get this nice coverage in here, I really, really, really like this. It handles great. So that is Great American and Girault. So we'll set these aside here, clear out some space. All right, so now we have Mount Vision. This is a harder pastel. It also handles really well. This is probably, I would say, my second favorite. For base coating, Great American is tops, number one. Mount Vision, I would give this a second place for base coating. It goes on great, and value for your money is unparalleled. I mean, look at the size. This is the size of my car. It's huge. I love Mount Vision. Like, this is $3-ish, and you get so much value for your money. For fine lines, obviously, again, because it's fat, doesn't have many sharp corners, you're not going to get all that great fine lines and hairs. If you're going for individual hairs, Girault just can't be beat. Just can't be beat for individual fine lines and hairs, whiskers, things like that. But for base coats, so Mount Vision is a base coating machine. Great American, again, a base coating machine. You just love these. They handle great. They handle great. Let's move that aside. All right, so Art Spectrum. This is on the cheaper end. These are about $2-ish per. So I really like these. This is burnt umber. This is not burnt sienna. As you can see, this is a harder pastel. So you can get some pretty fine lines with this, sort of like the Girault, except cheaper. So the burnt umber is not going to be as vibrant as, say, the Durell's 458. And because it's a cheaper pastel as well, it's not going to be vibrant. And you can really kind of see the color difference. I realize it's not the exact same color, but if you go to base coat, and this is not really a base coating pastel, it's going to take you a long time because of the hardness of this thing. Go to blend it. It's not that dusty, it's not too bad. Blending is okay. This is not really a good base coater. This is more of a come in and do the details after the base coat. So if you're going to come in, let's say you have some Durell and you need to come in and make some, make a little mark, some little details inside. This is going to be this pastel. It's going to be good for that. You can't really see that, but this is a cheaper pastel. It is non-toxic and not my favorite pastel, but you get a lot of value for your money because it's a pretty good size, and you can make some, fine line whiskers and things like that with this. So that is Art Spectrum. Let's line these up over here so you can get a size comparison side by side. There we go. Okay, so now we have Rembrandt. This is a very commercial brand, very big, very popular brand. Definitely one of my favorites. I really like Rembrandt. You can also get this in half stick. So here is a half stick versus full stick comparison. Pastels, unless you do just large amount of pastels, a stick will last you forever. Especially if you're doing pets, because your base coats don't really use a lot of pastels. You're doing whiskers and things like that. That doesn't use a lot of pastels. If you're doing pets solely, your pastel will last literally forever. So one pastel. So half stick is obviously about half the price. A lot of these companies have half sticks if you want to try those out. I know Great American has half sticks. I'm not sure if Mount Vision does. I think Unison, I know they have half sticks. So if you want to get good value for your money and get a good sampler, you can get half sticks in these. So let's do Rembrandt. This is a harder pastel. So you can get some nice details, nice whiskers, nice hairs with Rembrandt. Same with the full stick. No, don't roll off. So this is 235.3 in their line. It's listed as orange. It's quite the brownish orange. This is sort of burnt sienna-ish. See how it blends. I like the color on this. So this is not a good base coater either. You're going to be there all day. You're going to be here all day trying to get a base coat, a nice even base coat. It's going to take you forever with this. Not too dusty, not too bad. Blends pretty good. See with a half stick. So Rembrandt is going to be hard enough to where you want to come in later and put on details. So your base coaters are going to be your Great American. I mean, look how smooth that is. Your base coat is going to be Great American or Mount Vision. And then Art Spectrum, Rembrandt, Durell is going to come in and be with your details or your fine lines. So I know a lot of people like pencils. I like regular pastels better than pencils. Number one, they're easier on the wrist. If you have computer stuff all day, come home, you want to take it easy on the wrist. Instead of getting a pencil, doing a lot of pencil work and pressing down hard or whatever, you can get these pastels, just barely hold them and just do, your details or your fine lines or whatever. Yeah, I mean, you can do pretty small lines with these hard pastels. So I really like these. So this is Rembrandt. Let's press down harder and try to get like a better base coat. It still just doesn't compare to Great American and Mount Vision. Still just doesn't compare for base coating. All right, so let's put this aside over here again so you can get a size comparison. Finally, there's Unison. This is one of my favorite by far. Unison, it's cheap if you get it from Jackson's Art in the UK, and I know you're I know if you're in the USA, you're saying, my God, the shipping, man. But if you go to Jackson's, the shipping is not that bad if you're just going to buy a small set, right? And in addition, Unison actually has a dedicated pet pastel line. So this is their pastel pet line. It's Animal 36 set by Emma Colbert, and it's not that bad priced. You get 36 pastels, and they're all specifically oriented toward animals and pets. You have this nice line, and we'll do a separate review of this, but I highly recommend this set. It's excellent value for your money. I'll post a discount coupon over here for Jackson's Art, and so you get 10% off. So can't beat it. So Unison, this is any one. And Unison is like a lighter pastel. You can do a lot of various fine lines. If you look at Emma Colbert's videos, I'll link some of those in the description box. She has just amazing stuff. She will break the pastel and then make fine whiskers with it. Fine lines, fine whiskers, little details with these. So you can get a lot. They're hard enough. They're in the middle ground. They're hard enough to where you can get a lot of detail with them. But as well, they're not so hard as to prevent you from getting some good base coating with this. So you can get some pretty good coverage with this. It's going to take a little more work than if you were using Great American, for example. As you can see, the Great American, you can't beat that base coat. Look at that. Mountain Vision second. Let's say Unison. Well, Unison, Mountain Vision is going to be tied for second. Just really nice. Unison is really nice pastel. It's light. It's sort of soft, but not so soft as you can't get fine lines. So I really like Unison pastels. Overall, I'm really pleased with all of these. You can kind of make your own comparison here with these. So let's compare. So let's just compare sizes. Obviously, Mountain Vision wins as far as value for your money. I don't know. I mean, you can kind of see the size comparison, but for $3.50-ish, $3.50, Mountain Vision is going to be your best bang for your buck. Only problem with Mountain Vision is you can't get the fine lines and fine hairs. As far as just the look of the final pastel, I like Girault best. I would say second would be Great American, and then Unison, I would say, this is personal opinion, would be third, followed by Mountain Vision, and then these two, sort of trailing behind. I realize they're not all the exact same color, but using these for painting 1,000 pets, I would rate Great American as my absolute favorite, because of the range of colors they have, followed by Unison, and then Girault for final details for hairs or anything like that. So I'm Mitch, and this is my pastel comparison. Hopefully this is useful to you guys as sort of a jumping off point, like what brand do I buy? Hopefully this helps out a little bit for that. So have a great day.